And we're live. What is up, everybody? Be the Installer here to talk about some deals on early member access to Black Friday here. So I'm going to be going over a bunch of things. And as people come in, they can feel free to ask questions. And toward the end, I will answer some of you guys' questions because I know I try to do these videos where we have a bunch of different TVs and everyone still has questions about this TV or that TV. So I'll be happy to answer those questions as I get going here. But make sure you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you hear me over here, man? I can. You can hear me good? All right. Eric's in here. He's going to tee up some questions for you guys to ask me. It'll be about 30 minutes, 45 minutes or so. So we'll have plenty of time to ask and answer questions. And now I can see that people can hear me. We got Satoshi, we got Cowboys fan. I'm sure more people will jump in as we go here. So let me go ahead and start talking about what we have going on today. So first, obviously, you guys know that Black Friday is about to be here. And right now, Best Buy is running the 3-day sale where you get early access if you're members of Best Buy. And I'm sure a lot of you are members of Best Buy, but if not, it's an opportunity for you to do this. And I don't really care where you buy TVs. I buy all my TVs at Best Buy because, you know, there's stores everywhere. You can return things if you need to. They got good prices. They match all that. So I like that. And there's a few deals that are things that I would buy. And first off, I wanted to just show you guys the LG A2. I think it's something that, you know, people like Stop the FOMO, myself and others talk about, you know, which OLED to buy. If you are going to buy an entry-level OLED, I guess this is a 60 hertz panel, I believe, but this is a great TV or a monitor that you can use for your computer. And it's hard to find something this good that's $549. Normally this is $1,300 right now, $549, you know, to enter into the OLED world. 48-inch is, you know, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but for a lot of people, this is good for a bedroom or for a computer. And I think in those situations, you're not, you know, going to be using the full brightness of your TV all the time anyways. For me, I have my OLED on minimal power in my bedroom most of the time. So I really don't need to have the brightest OLED in my bedroom, or any kind of like QLED TV is just way too much. So this is a perfect opportunity because you know, LG's great OLED TVs. The A2 is entry level and it's $550, which is very unheard of for OLED TV. So obviously I think myself, that is a really good price. Now, on the other hand, not everybody needs headphones, but I just wanted to mention this because I think I mention this every year. Sony headphones are pretty good, especially these noise canceling ones. And I have these XM4, noise canceling headphones. I've had a few pairs of these and I use them on airplanes and, you know, when I'm doing things around the house. But really, when I'm watching TV at night by myself, these are my go-to. They last like 30 to 40 hours. So, you know, even if I leave them on overnight, the next night they still have juice. And they charge up in like 20, 30 minutes. So they're $100 off. And I just wanted to mention them because I absolutely love these headphones. When you have them on, you can't hear anything around you. So that's good and bad if you want to be able to mind your surroundings, but they're really good headphones. So I highly recommend that you guys get these. They're $100 off around this time. And that's just really unbeatable. There's not a lot of other products out there that is, you know, similar to this, maybe the Bose headphones, but I still think that the Sony noise canceling is the best. And then lastly, as you can see, I purchased this last year, splurge purchase, no discount. I bought it for full price, the $909 price, but this is a DJI drone. It's the Mini 3 Pro drone with the new remote control too. I absolutely love this. I don't use it as much as I'd like, to be honest, but when I do, it's so much fun. And now it's almost $200 off the price that I paid. So it's just one of those things that if you can hold on until there are deals, this is a really fantastic deal if you need a drone, and it's so much fun. It's overkill. You like literally can't run it into anything for the most part. And you get such a cool view of everything around you. If you guys are looking for a drone or a present, that is something that I really like. But I know most of you guys are here to talk about TVs. And one of the things that we talked about a lot was this let me jump back. This LG C3 versus the Samsung S90C, which one to get? A lot of people ask me that. So it's a very tough decision. I think on one hand, I am very comfortable with the LG C3 because the C series OLED TVs have been around for many years. And I know as dating as far back as when OLEDs came into the picture, these were pretty solid. And I think back then there might have been, you know, a little bit of a burn-in issue here or there, but now they've got some anti-burn-in features and pixel shifting and all these things that make the longevity of these TVs really good. And to be honest, those TVs that people now have issues with are 5 or 6 years old. And, you know, 5 or 6 years old to then start having issues with the TV, I feel like you got a lot of life out of it. And sometimes people complain about having issues with the TV they buy, like literally right now, whether it be blooming or dirty screen effect or dead pixels. So I like these OLED TVs. I think the C3 at $15.99 is a fantastic price. I don't think it's going to get much better, maybe a little bit, but I think if you buy now, you have, if you're a member, 60 days to price match anyways. So I'd be very confident in buying this right now at this price, unless you're talking about getting the S90C. Now, the S90C is more or less a very similar TV from Samsung. And I think a lot of people would say, well, Samsung didn't even like OLEDs a year ago or 2 years ago. Now they're in the OLED game. And this is a QD-OLED, which quantum dot OLED is a little bit different how it, you know, sends light out. And technically that people have said that this might be able to produce a little bit more bright and vibrant colors. However, when you look at them side by side, I think it's very similar. And then it just comes down to, do you like Samsung? Do you like LG? They're both $15.99. I think they're very similar, and honestly, they look very similar. If you're going to mount them on a wall, same thing. I like the way that the C3 that has the stand at the bottom. I think that looks a little sleeker if you're going to put it on a stand. And technically, I might like the WebOS maybe more than the Tizen as far as the operating system of the Samsung. So I don't know. I would probably get the C3, but I know a lot of people like the gaming features and all that of this S90C. So both of these TVs are fantastic, and they're both $15.99 at a 65-inch. It might be worth taking a look at seeing how much the 77-inch is. So the 77-inch S90C is $24.99, and the 77-inch, okay, again, same thing. So $2,500 for a 77-inch. Both of them again on sale. And these are the price points that the 65-inch were when they came out, actually $100 less. So, you know, if you have waited this long and you're wondering if these are good deals, these 77-inch OLEDs are now the price that the 65-inch were when they came out. So obviously those are good deals. You can get larger. You can get the 83 of the C3 anyways. You can't get that of the S90C. And then I wanted to just show, for example, the A80L from Sony. Very similar. I think some people would say that the processing of the Sony is preferred by them, and maybe even how accurate out of the box it may be. Upscaling is very smooth on Sony. This is like those other two TVs, the second best Sony, but this is $17.99. So it's $200 more than the other two at the 65-inch. And so when I'm showing deals, I'm just trying to be honest. Like, are you going to pay $200 more for a Sony OLED over a Samsung, over a C3 from LG? Maybe so. This has a Google TV operating system, which is probably my favorite out of all these. So, you know, if that's something that's important, I mean, you can always buy like a Chromecast or something to connect to it to get this similar operating system and then not have to worry about it. But then you're just purchasing extra equipment. I do like the Sony OLEDs. I probably would just opt for getting the best Sony, or maybe the best of all these brands. So these are, you know, still really expensive, but when it comes to OLED TVs, these are the more, you know, this is the better pricing that you can get for these. So 65-inch is $17.99 for this. And then if we go to the 77-inch, I don't think it's going to be $24.99, right? So it's $28.99. So $400 more if you get a 77-inch. So now you're getting into that territory where if you're, you know, not too worried about it, if you're going to buy something like a Sonos Arc or a Sonos Beam sound bar, right, and you wanted to like save some money, and that means Sonos doesn't necessarily work with any of these TVs, like interactive menus and all that. So, you know, if you're going to buy like a sound bar that isn't matching, then you're saving $400 by not getting this Sony. So if you end up buying the Samsung or the LG, you're like, okay, $400 off. Now you can get that Sonos, you know, Beam Gen 2, you can just get it for, you know, inclusive of that price. And now you have a TV and a sound bar versus the Sony. So a lot of things to think about when you're buying those sorts of deals, when you go into the store, when you buy online. And just FYI, I'm doing this. This is sponsored by Best Buy, so I wanted to let you guys know that. Again, there's links in the description if you're looking to purchase TVs. You know, it helps the channel out, and I appreciate it. And we get a commission based off that. But I just want to make sure that I'm hitting all the bases here, and you guys have opportunities to know which TVs I think are the best, and then answer. You know, I'm going to answer you guys' questions, so definitely answer. And I think, Eric, are you checking into some of the people's questions below?
Yeah, there's one person who was asking if you'd rather go with the Hisense U7K or the TCL Q7 in like a 55-inch size. They were looking.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get to Hisense in just a second. So let's start. I have lined up the QM8. That's not the one, right? You're saying the lower one. So let's start with this because I already have it up. QM8. Now, the reason I put this up is because we were talking about 65-inch TVs being around $1,599. And this TCL 75-inch is actually $100 more. So now you're getting, you know, 10 inches of screen size more with getting this QLED mini LED from TCL, which is awesome. The only thing I'd have to say is kind of the off-angle viewing was not as good as I liked. I mean, if you're straight on, it's pretty good. I think this is a VA panel, and in this VA panel, it just does not have great angles from the side for viewing. So when you're sitting at an angle, it looks a little washed out. However, it's a really good TV overall, and it's basically a 75 for the price of those 65-inch TVs. And then if you go up to the 85-inch, you're talking $21.99. So again, roughly $2,000, a little bit more than $2,000 for an 85-inch TV, which is really, really good. And then if you go to Hisense for that same 75-inch at the same price, actually $100 less, you get a 75-inch U8K. And now this is an ADS panel, and we've seen this, and it actually looks better off angle than the QM8. So this is a really good TV here. I think this is one that a lot of people would like. We actually did a video where we gave this TV away. We're going to have that video come out next weekend. It's a really cool video. We're doing it for Veterans Day. It's a buddy that is being deployed, and we gave him this and some other things. It's going to be a cool video. I want you guys to check it out. But 75-inch U8K for $15.99. Again, the price of a lot of those OLED TVs at $65. And to be honest, you go with the size. If you have wall space for this, I would take a 75-inch Hisense mini LED over a 65-inch OLED. I've done that multiple times. I actually took, you know, a 98-inch, you know, middle of the road QLED over my 83-inch OLED. So I put my money where my mouth is. I like the size over the quality if you get a massive discount on that. So $15.99 Hisense U8K. I like that, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second about what you had said, Eric. But to compare that, you're also going to be able to get a Sony in that same price range. So if you're like, I'm not going to buy a TCL, I'm not going to buy a Hisense, I prefer, you know, the Japanese or the Korean brands. This Sony 75-inch X90L, which has got way less dimming zones, and it's not, you know, in my opinion, quite as bright as some of these other ones. But when compared to them, people find out that this has the tone mapping and the upscaling and the color accuracy, and they really like it compared to those. So it's the same price as those other two. It's a 75-inch. And so I think a lot of people will get this at $15.99, the same price as those other two, even those that I showed you were the top from those brands, and this is the second or third down the line for Sony. It's still very good. And most of the time, people will opt for this 85-inch, which I've said in multiple videos. I know people are probably like, broken record here saying that the 85-inch X90 or 900 series TVs are typically super popular around this time because you're getting them for around $2,000, $2,200 right now for an 85-inch Sony TV, and that's very difficult to beat. But let's go back to that question that you had. So we're talking about the U7K here, I believe. Is that what it was, Eric?
Yeah, the U7K.
Yeah, and then
55-inch full sizes.
Yeah, well, against the Q7. And we're talking about the Q7, correct?
Yep, Q7 versus U7.
So for me, I looked at these and I felt like I know that the price points of the Hisense and the TCLs were a little goofy. It was, you know, at the time, I think the Hisense, so the Hisense right now is $50 less. We've had both of these, and I liked them both. Actually, I don't think we have had the U7K in here, so my apologies. The U7K is a mini LED, so if you go here, This is a mini LED QLED TV, and it's got the Google operating system. They both have that. And again, sometimes the mini LED aspect is a little bit overstated. I know that I like this. I probably would have to say that because I think that these are the ADS type panels, it might look a little better off angle. I'm not 100% on the TCL, and I'm sure someone will probably tell me in the chat. I don't know. It's pretty difficult. They're both really good. I might just go with the price discount and get the U7K in this instance. I know that when we looked at the Q7, we did like it. I think there was a little bit of dirty screen effect. I think there was a little bit of vignetting in the corners of the screen. And I'm not saying that the U7K won't have that, but I didn't have that in here, so I can't say. But when I saw it at CES, I thought they both looked really good. So that's a pretty difficult call. And I think, a lot of people might just come down to the discount. So you say $50 there, I might go with that. But let me get back real quickly into these other ones that I was looking at. So I have the large TV issue. So there's a few 98-inch TVs that I think are really awesome. And honestly, if you can afford any of them, they're super awesome. So, it just depends on the price point and whether or not it's worth it to get a 98. A lot of people will say, like, why don't you just get an 85-inch? Because what's the difference between a 98 and 85? And honestly, the difference is the price, because they're way more expensive if you go up to the 98. But the one that kind of, balances between there, it splits the difference, is this TCL S5. I didn't even know this was coming out. Okay. And then when it did, I had just gotten the QM8 in the house, which was like $8,000 or $9,000. And now we have this S5, and I was really impressed with this. It's in a box right now because we have a big 150-inch AWOL Vision like screen up on the wall. But this TV was probably the one where I'm like, wow, this looks better than the R754 from last year from TCL. It's got brighter highlights. It doesn't have any dimming zones. It's just direct lit. So the light and the contrast may not be perfect, but for me, I didn't notice any like major contrast issues between this, the QM8, or the R754, while I found that the highlights on this S5 were fantastic. We were watching like a Dolby Vision movie, and I think it was the Way of Water Avatar movie, and the highlights were so bright in a dark scene that a lot of times when you get like a mid-tier QLED TV, the dimming zones are trying to like beat down that, suppress those highlights so you can't really see them. There was none of that in the TCL, and I didn't notice any washout of the picture or anything. So this for $35.99 is a fantastic deal. And I think this is a TV that a lot of people will buy. If you want a 98-inch TV, just buy this and you take it home and check it out. I'm telling you, you're going to absolutely love it. And none of the other ones that are 98-inch are anywhere close to this price. So, you got no shot of getting the QM8 down at this price right now. And I think this is obvious. Honestly, I think this is better. Excuse me. Because the QM8, which I like, it's brighter and it's great from straight on. Again, off angle just doesn't look as good as this does off angle. And I can't remember if this is the ADS panel. I didn't go up at the microscope and check it out. It might still be a VA panel. I'm not sure, but I really like this. And of course, if you're going to have any downsides to the TVs, I'd rather pay $3,500 than $9,000 and then notice a downside. It makes me feel better if I don't pay as much. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, let me just check the comments right now. While I'm in here, I'm just going to go through this, but I will answer some of these. Hopefully Eric can grab some of the best ones, but yeah, let's see what I was going to say. Just see how are you guys all doing? I hope everyone's doing great today. We got about 150 people here. I know a lot of other people are going to check this out later. So thanks to everyone for checking this out. We got people from England. I like that. I saw Rainer's in here from Germany. I'm not sure if he's in Germany. Yeah, man, I'm doing great. Glad to be back with you guys here. I'm glad to have an opportunity to do this too. A90L, I don't know about that. I got right here. Oh, this is the one that said the U7H at $849. Is that a good deal? I think that's a good deal. Although you can get the U7K for $550, so I don't know where you are, and I probably would just get it new. If it's another $80 to get the new one this year with better software and all that, I'd probably go there. Let's see. I don't know what poop down thumb means. Maybe we should have that person not in here. What do you think? Just got rid of them. So there you go. I don't think that adds to the conversation very much. Make sure you guys ask questions. I'm going to go into a couple more TVs here. So King of TVs. I don't let's see, do we have the, there it is, the A95L. Okay, so you have this. As you can see, not discounted. And I talked about this in my last video. So we have a 65-inch for $34.99. And this is the TV that won, best TV of the year. I think overseas, what was it, a Panasonic possibly that did well. Was that Panasonic? I can't think of what it is. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the other one. But if you look here, you have a G3 from LG that is that a full $1,000 less? It's $900 less. And I have this TV. I have it in 77-inch, and I absolutely love it. It's so nice. And then you also have the Samsung top-of-the-line TV, which is the S95C, which I'm trying to find. Here it is. And that is also $25.99. And I mean, I've even done this before. Compare, and then go into this just so we can see them next to each other. And I think even when I did this, I threw in the LG C3 because we were talking about this. So there you go, 4 TVs. Now let's go down here and compare them. And this is the kind of thing you can do on the website here that I like. I obviously, you guys can do this if you need to too. You can download the app too. I've mentioned, downloading the app before. It's really easy to be logged in and go to your guys's, receipts. If you go into Best Buy, I need to return something. But right here, you see the top 3 products, all OLED TVs. This is a QD-OLED, the S95C, a traditional OLED in the G3 with the MLA technology. And then you have the new Sony A95L. As you can see, the prices of these two on the left are far better as of now. And currently you're paying basically a $900 Sony tax because this TV came out so late in the year. I haven't even seen it yet. That's how late. I'm still waiting on a 77-inch version of this to review. So it's taken a little longer for Sony to get this out. And unfortunately, maybe that means it's not going to be as discounted. Normally, the top of the line Sonys aren't discounted that much anyway. So if you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it. But why wouldn't you consider the G3 or the S95C? Both of these are so close. I think it's splitting hairs with regards to this A95L. And I would take either one of these TVs. They're so nice. The S95C here has a One Connect box, which is really nice. You can separate that and put it in a cabinet or something if you want to have this cleanly mounted on the wall. And both these TVs, the S95C and this LG OLED G3, are both really, really beautiful on the wall. They both sit perfectly flush. They don't have a lot of peripherals sticking out. I guess the G3 has the HDMI cords up there, but they kind of tuck neatly behind the TV and down the wall if you're doing that sort of thing. We put this in our gaming room. Absolutely fantastic gaming specs for the G3, and the same with the S95C. And I guess the only thing that I like better about the Sony that I know for certain is it's got the Google TV operating system. But since I haven't seen it, I can't say, oh, it's so much better than the other two. I think they're all very good. And then on the right, of course, you can see the LG C3 and again, that other Samsung S90C OLED are another $1,000 less expensive than these. So you're talking about being less than half price of the Sony. So really, you could buy 2 of those TVs for the price of the one Sony. And that's kind of where, you get into this and it's like, wow, that is a lot more expensive. And it's even $1,000 less than these other two. So if you're in a medium lit room or a darker room, you're not going to notice the difference between the C3 and the G3 because it's going to be so bright, the G3, that you're not going to want it at full brightness. And the same thing with the Samsung. I had that for a little bit and man, it was bright. Even on its minimal setting, it was too bright for my bedroom, which is like, if you're watching TV in the dark, you're never going to fall asleep if you have a TV, blasting that bright every night. So it just depends on your guys' conditions, what you're trying to do with everything, where this TV is going to be. And so those things are all things you should consider when buying a TV. I think you can get, the LG C3 or the S90C. And that's why people think that those are the best deals of the season. So I really think that's the case. Now, we have to get some questions answered. Oh, geez, look at that. We got Jen in here. She's supposed to be working right now. I guess she must be done. So Jen's upstairs finishing her week. She does all kinds of work. She helps us out after she's done with her job. So I know you guys are big fans of Jen helping out. So thanks, Jen, for checking in. All right, Eric, do you have any specific questions that I don't have to go through? Or what do you think? Or should I just kind of go down the list?
Somebody was asking about other OLEDs from LG, some of the lower ones, and how they compare. Somebody was asking about the A2 in the 77-inch size, but I only saw the B2 in the 77-inch size.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing with those. Let me go to it because we can mess around. So the A2, as I said, is a 60 hertz panel, meaning that it doesn't have quite as smooth of motion if you're going to be watching. You know, if you want to have some motion smoothing, or if you want to play games at 4K 120, I don't believe that the A2 can do that. But if you're just watching like TV, if you're just gaming on an Xbox without, 4K 120, you're not going to really notice this stuff. Excuse me. Now, so that's fine. I think it's fine. Now, and the processor is a little bit, it's like last year's or a lower processor. Now, if you go to the B2, normally these are 120 hertz panels. And I think they even have 4K 120. Now, I could be wrong on that. I'm going to click on this. All this information is right here. It's pretty easy to check out. So you got HDMI 2.1 ports, FreeSync aiming, all this. So yeah, so it basically the B2 or the B3 or whatever you may be looking at, it's just not going to be quite as bright as the C series. But I think it has mostly the same specs. This one's not even available. Yeah, so I would look probably more for the C. I'm sorry, for the B3. So like, let me just type in LG B3. What are you doing? You got a picture of it? Yeah. Yeah. Let me look at this. So here, LG 65-inch B3, $1,299. So that's $300 less than the C3. So what are you talking about? You're talking about another, 20% more or less. I don't know. It's a tough call. I don't think there's a lot lost. And I think a lot of times people just say the B3 would be just fine. And then you were talking about the 73, the 77-inch is actually $2,000. So for me, this is probably one of those perfect opportunities to compare QLED versus OLED. Again, so in a QLED versus OLED situation, would I buy the B3 or would I buy at 77-inch or would I buy an 85-inch QLED? And that would be difficult. For $2,000, this is a really good deal. And if you're in a dark room or medium lit room, this might be a great opportunity. And the C3, I think at this price was $25.99 or $24.99. So that's a little bit more expensive. But if you compare something like that to the X90L right here at 85-inch for $21.99, that is a very difficult call because they're going to be similar brightness levels. This is going to have a little bit of blooming in a dark room, but it might look a little better in a brighter room. But that's one of those things where we always get this QLED versus OLED questions. I had a video that was pretty popular that explained some of these. So if you guys have any more questions about that, I kind of run over some of those things. But I like the idea of getting an entry level or mid-tier OLED TV because I think a lot of those are still going to be nicer than most, QLED TVs or just LED TVs. Just because it doesn't have a lot of the downside. And the only thing you're really lacking is a little bit of brightness, but you still get that individual pixel level control. So I probably would opt for that. Yeah, so that's that. I'm going to go through some more questions. And again, remember, I'm doing this with conjunction with Best Buy here. So I just want to let you guys know this is sponsored by Best Buy. Again, I don't care where you buy your TVs. I don't care if you buy them, but if you do, there's links in the description you guys can check out, and it helps the channel. I appreciate that. Okay, do you think there are going to be any good deals on sound bars? That's a good question. I love looking at sound bars, and sometimes I don't take the opportunity to go in and really look at sound bars as much as I should. So there are, I like the idea of getting a sound bar that matches your TV. So like, for example, if you're going to get a Samsung TV and you go in and get something that matches like the, I think it's the 990C. Is that right? I want to make sure I'm right. Yeah, there you go. The 990C. We saw this at CES. It was amazing. It sounded so good. Of course, they have like little room setups, so sometimes they can make it sound awesome. But for the most part, I'm pretty sure that people that have reviewed this love this. And it's $18.99 normally, which is pretty expensive, but $13.99 is actually a pretty good price because you get all this. You get rear speakers, you get the sound bar, and you get subwoofer, and it's pretty good sound bar, subwoofer, sorry. So if you're going to be buying a TV and you're getting a Samsung and maybe you opt for getting that S90C OLED instead of the S95C, and you're going to save, I think it was like almost $1,000 by doing so. then look, that almost pays for you to get this, Q series soundbar, which is amazing. It's going to sound fantastic. So I think that's a great idea, because the difference in how bright those two OLEDs are, I don't think it's worth it for most people. And then if you can get a soundbar that matches and thumps, why wouldn't you do that? I absolutely would do that. So I think that Samsung 990C, I have not seen it. I have not been able to get it here, but you can't review every single product all year. And then, I am excited because I have Sony TV coming in eventually, hopefully. And then I have this A7000 soundbar. And, again, they're not Sony TV, Sony soundbars aren't known for being like extremely discounted. But, this soundbar is really nice. It sounds fantastic with the Atmos upfiring and all that. And you can buy the separate pieces here. So now you're talking about almost $2,000 for getting everything. So yeah, definitely more expensive. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's super discounted, but this system sounds really good. And why I like it is because if you have a Sony TV, you have all the on-screen connections, and it uses the OLED as another speaker. So you got sound coming out at you, you got sound from the sound bar, and then you have a really good sub and all that. So again, you're saving a little bit of money. You got to check out and see if the deal's worth it for you. I can't say for certain that this is going to be a great deal, but that's what happens when you start buying them the same brand. And as I had said, I really like the Sonos Arc soundbar. It's fantastic. And even the Sonos Beam Gen 2, they're really good. Now, this hasn't changed in price in probably 2 years, so not really on sale there. You can buy a package deal and save a little bit of money. You can buy a mount to put it underneath your TV. A lot of cool things there. I'm trying to see also. And then we got the Beam Gen 2 here. So it doesn't look like the Sonos products are really on sale yet. So maybe they'll go on sale a little bit more. Maybe they won't. But I like Sonos. It just works with every brand, and it sounds pretty good. So yes and no. There are some deals, and hopefully there'll be some more. This is a really good question. Would I get that S5 class versus a UST versus classic projector? Okay, I'm not a pro on classic projectors. When I used to do installations, my specialty was not picking out the best projector. It was more installation of things that people already had sometimes. So I would just, hook them up, run the HDMI cords, run power, and do all that stuff. So I never really got into being an expert on that when I did that. So I don't know about the regular projectors. I know Sony makes some really good ones that are really expensive, but UST projectors we're starting to learn more and more about. And the fact that they're getting brighter and better is a really cool thing. The S5 is a really nice TV, and I would just say get that at the 98-inch for most people, because I don't know if you guys are putting these in your living room, like a 98-inch TV is ridiculous. If you have a dedicated theater room, then that's different. Then maybe you could go bigger, but like a 120-inch screen like I have behind me, that's like 15 feet away, and it still looks pretty big behind us. Those are awesome, and they're definitely bigger. And we even have the 150-inch screen from AWOL Vision, which is just insanely large. And if you can get a UST projector that is 3,000 or 4,000 ANSI lumen, they look pretty good, and I'm not going to lie. But if you have it in a bright room, then you have a little bit of issue with it getting washed out because of that matte finish type screen, where the S5, it doesn't really have that. It has a little bit more brightness too. And in general, it's just, I think a TV is easier to have on the wall. You don't have to worry about a second component like the actual UST projector being bumped around or whatever. And if you have a TV up, then you can put a sound bar under it, where if you have a projector, it's a little more complicated. You just have to make sure you know how your sound is going to come out. The UST projectors actually have good sound, but if you're going to hook a system up, you can't really just set a sound bar right in front of your screen, right? So those are two things to think about. I personally love the S5. I think it's a great TV. And for $3,500, you're done. You don't have to worry about the projector, the screen, kind of the location and all that. So definitely challenging to figure out which one might be best. I am going to test the L95. My name is Brandon. It's okay. No big deal. Brian is a buddy of mine. He does his show. He's got another channel. Tech Med Rainer. Yes, you're back in Germany. Good to know. I'm fine. Thanks, man. I really appreciate everyone tuning in today. Okay, what else we got? This is a good one. Here's a Win I bought a 55-inch class C3 series for $1,300 and I absolutely love it, especially at that price. There you go. People are happy. I honestly, people will love these TVs. I know a lot of the people that we talk to we're doing, reviews on everything and we're nitpicking everything. But most of the time, the things that I recommend, most of these TVs, you'll absolutely love them. And occasionally people won't. But yeah, these TVs are really good. Oh, okay. Here we go. How's it going? Oh, gotta call Cox Communication. No way. Get out of here. All right. I can't decide between an S90C 77-inch and an X90L 75-inch. Okay. I don't know. For me, that's a pretty easy choice. I think I would definitely get the OLED TV. No question. The S90C has the individual pixel level control. It's bigger. I do like the Google TV of the X90L. However, I'm not down with the blooming of these TVs. And even though it's not always super noticeable, when the blooming or the light bleeding of a LED type TV is noticeable, it's not my favorite. And if you talk about brightness level, the Sony here is about maybe I'll be wrong, 600, 700, 800 nit LED TV that if you're watching maybe sports, for example, and the full screen is bright, it'll be brighter than the OLED. However, if you're watching movies or if you're just, talking about general quality, picture quality, I think the OLED TV is going to look better. And definitely when you're watching like HDR movies, so if you're going to watch movies with your family, like the S90C is going to have much better HDR. And you're going to be like, it's got the wow factor with the individual pixel level control. And I think I would opt for the 77-inch OLED almost all the time over a comparable 75-inch LED or QLED TV, just because I'm a sucker for OLED TVs and it looks better to me. That's how I feel. And I got someone else right there. Garrett agrees with me. And, I think a lot of people may. What's up, Dave? How's it going, man? Dave Whelan there out of Arizona. Nice to see you as well. Okay. We got the 77-inch C3 will be 2,300s on Black Friday. That's what Mr. X Cash says. My point is, if you're buying a TV right now, what's it, $24.99, $200 difference. If it went down to 2,300 in less than a month, if you're a member of Best Buy, then you would probably be able to take your receipt. You definitely can take your receipt in and say, here you go. I need to get the price difference. So not the end of the world. I think if you're buying a TV back in April or May, at that point, you're like, I'm just buying it and the price is going to go down. And obviously, and so you're going to eat that difference and you're going to enjoy the TV the whole time. So I'm fine with that. Normally people buy TVs around this time of year. And I think that's pretty logical. Let's see. And then now they're asking, will the S90C be 2,300 on Black Friday? I just explained it. I don't know. Normally the best pricing starts like right now. And the problem is sometimes toward Black Friday, they run out of stock. So these are really, really popular TVs. I would probably just get it. But if you want to wait, it might go down. It could. I mean, this may not be the absolute best prices ever, but I mean, it is. These are like early access for members of Best Buy. So the prices are, rather low already. Okay. Here's a good question. And LG or Samsung soundbars, which are better? Traditionally, I have noticed that Samsung soundbars sound a little bit better, dollar for dollar. It just, again, it depends on if you're going to try to, get a Samsung with a Samsung TV and an LG with an LG TV. You get a little bit more connectivity with each of them if you buy the same kind. But I really like the Samsung soundbars. They normally rival some of the best, like the Sonos, some of these other more expensive soundbars. But I think I would probably go with a Samsung soundbar if I had to just choose. Or if you wanted to just get a Sonos Arc or something, those are really good as well. All right. We have a 75-inch U7K at $901. I don't know where that price is, but that's good. Good price. And then here, well, you think that is this the same price? Is this the exact same one? Yeah. Someone said it's already 900. Someone said, yeah, I'd be careful buying some of these. This is not just a plug because I'm doing this sponsorship with Best Buy, which again, I want to let you guys know. Sometimes people are looking online at some of these other websites, whether it be for consumer products, you know, or even my wife got a TJ Watt jersey and we got it at a good price, but then it took like 2 months to be delivered, right? So where you buy things does matter. I buy TVs at Best Buy because if I order it for delivery, it shows up 2 days later and they deliver it with care. And that's a benefit to me. You know, I'm not trying to buy TVs off of a website that I don't know. You know, there's no one manning the customer service. You get it from like some random warehouse on the East Coast. Like, I'm a little bit sketchy on that sometimes, to be honest. That's just my personal opinion. I'm willing to pay $50 or $100 more to know that it's coming from a place that I also can then return it back to if there's an issue. Sometimes if you buy something and you look at the fine print on some of those websites, it's like 15% restocking fee no matter what, or they don't even really accept returns. Just be careful when you buy things. Obviously, there's some other reputable companies around the country, but that's just why I buy at Best Buy. It's just, you know, we have 5 of them in San Diego that I can go buy from. That's so. Will the U7K 75-inch go below $999 on Black Friday? Let's see. Where am I here? There it is. U7K, right? 75-inch. And that currently is $999. I mean, I don't know. Is $1,000 for a 75-inch TV not low enough? Like, again, we go to the 75-inch version of this X90L, it's $1,599. So you're already $600 less than that. And as I think a lot of people know, over the years, Hisense TVs have gotten a lot better, and they are one of the better TVs. Like, when we took the U8K to my buddy, he loved it. And I really got a sense of like how someone from, you know, that's not on YouTube all the time reviewing TVs looked at their old TV and then saw our new one and they're like, wow, the color on that is amazing. And I was just like, he kept saying how good it looked. And the same thing with the U7K, it's really similar to the U8K and it's very good. And so for $1,000, 75-inch, I would pull the trigger. It may, but I don't know how much lower it could go. And, you know, is it going to be out of stock? A lot of the Hisense TVs I'm pretty sure they were out of stock last year. They just had like the very basic ones because they were, because that's all they had left. They had like tons of the cheaper ones, but they didn't have any more of the higher end TVs. Okay, and then we're talking about the U7K compared to the QM8 or Hisense. There's not a ton of difference. It's just a little bit less bright than the other two. Again, the QM8 is a VA panel, I believe, and I think off angle it doesn't look great. The two Hisense TVs look pretty good off angle. Technically, the QM8 is supposed to be a little brighter than the Hisense U8K. I like all three. For most people, the U7K should just be your choice because it's less expensive. And why buy something that's another $500 to $1,000 more or whatever it may be? Most of you guys really don't need that much bright. I mean, look right here. Yeah, the QM8 is borderline too bright. I don't think it's just that it's too bright, although you could make that case, especially since they do have that, like, you know, the ability for, what's it called? The intelligent brightness or whatever, where they'll, it'll dim it down in a room. You know, it happens a lot. It is extremely bright, these QLED TVs. And then when you go off angle, a little bit washed out. Not my absolute favorite. Let's see. Any questions that you noticed, Eric, or should I just keep rolling down?
Let's see.
Let's see here. This is not. Let me do this real quick. 85 X95L. So I didn't mention that TV. Let's go back to the this one here. So I have had a hard time finding this TV, the X95L. The 85-inch X93L Mini LED. I believe that this is just meant to be a little bit more mainstream, to be honest, because you don't even see like the X95L series on here. So I would just, this is my guess, I don't know for certain. I would guess that this is supposed to be their mini LED that's more mainstream, period. I think there's different sizes in this too. Yeah, you got 55, 65, 75, 85. And this is it's a good TV. It's great. I had it. We like it. I thought it was as good, or, you know, right there with the U8K and the QM8 as far as one of the better TVs I've ever seen. It has more dimming zones. I'm not exactly sure how many dimming zones it had. It wasn't like it had 2,000 dimming zones. So I still saw a little blooming, especially off angle on this TV. But people that have had the X95 in their house have noticed that it's one of the best LED TVs they've ever seen. I think Andrew Robinson said that. I believe Caleb at Digital Trends was really happy with it. So obviously, again, Sony knows how to make a LED TV, a top of the line. And this one is just a little bit less expensive, I believe. I believe the other one is somewhere around maybe, is it 5,000 or in the $4,000 to $5,000 range, but it's not even on Best Buy right now, which is weird. That's why I'm wondering. And also whenever I type in the X95L, it comes up with the X95K from last year. So whoops, that's not it. So I'm going to go here and click on it, X95L, and it's not even bringing it up here. That's what happens with live TV, guys. There we go. X95K, so that's $290. That's $29.99. That's actually a really good price. This TV was really good. I've done the whenever I take a Sony LED TV to someone's house, they always love it. So that's a pretty good price right there. This is less expensive if you can get it. I would probably just get this last year's X95K over the X95L. I think a lot of people have even said this, more or less. They think it's the same version. But yeah, here, that's the X95J, but they don't have the X95L on this. So it's been a little bit harder for me to recommend that for people since I don't see it. But I think the Sony top of the line are good. They're just more expensive. And a lot of people probably wouldn't notice the difference if they got the X90 series, which is not going to have as good of anti-reflective capabilities as the X95L would or X93L. Because they have more of that rainbow effect, better anti-reflective capabilities, and they're brighter. But the X90L is still good if you can control the light in your room and you're watching movies, content. It's very similar to the Hisenses and the TCLs, all kind of in that same category where you're going to get them for a much better price. So that's probably as best I can do with that question. Sorry. All right. I already budget sound bars. I don't really have a lot of budget sound bars. Unfortunately, I apologize. Normally, you can go with the Samsung. You can go with, more of a mid-tier Samsung. I mean, you're not going to end up getting the 9.1.4 groupings for like under $500, but some of those soundbars are still pretty good for most people. So whether it be a Sonos Beam Gen 2, which is $450, I think, or you go even less expensive and you get the entire package for a couple $100. I mean, Samsung soundbars are pretty good. I like those. People ask, what do I do with all these TVs? That is a common question that I get. We have a lot of them. We got an 85-inch TV there. We got two 98-inch TVs, or actually, do we have all three? We have all three 98-inch TVs and a spare bedroom. We have multiple TVs sitting out. We got some projectors. There's a whole pile of projectors right here. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff. And I try to donate or give away or, even sell some of the TVs if possible, if they're brand new, but that's what we do with them. It's kind of hard not to do that. It have to basically do that in San Diego because you can't be lugging TVs all around the country. So, but that's what I do. Someone else. Oh, Garrett. Yeah. Again, mentioned it is so much better than the X90L. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Okay. Taha Khan. I'm confused. S95C and A95L. I am too. I don't know because I haven't seen the A95L. However, that S95C is $1,000 less or $900 less. So that should make your confusion less. It should lessen your confusion. Why would you want to pay $3,500 or whatever? Yeah, it's a full. No, that's the wrong one. My bad. Where is that? The comparison that I did. I don't even know. It might be gone now. Here we go. Comparison. $3,500, $2,599, so $900 less. That should be able to help your confusion, man. Do you want to pay, $3,500 or do you want to pay $2,600? I think they're very similar TVs. There's not much difference. They're basically the same panel. It's like Sony did their processing and they put their processor in there and they do their upscaling and all that. And Samsung did their own thing on their own TV. So it's a crapshoot, and I think you shouldn't overthink it too much. And I don't know if it's going to drop down to $23.99, maybe, but you're talking about $200 again, so 10% discount. I think you got to figure out which TV you want first, right? All right, let me get into a couple more. Here we go. X95L 85, or are you going to get a 100-inch U8K? I mean, again, I've already told you I'm getting a 100-inch TV. And And honestly, I could even get the 100-inch TCL S5. I don't know how much this U8K is going to be. Probably it'll be a little better. Not going to lie, it probably will be. But even a guy that reviews TVs, if that U8K is that much more than $3,500, I'm just getting the TCL S5, and I'm probably going to buy myself a big sound system to go with it, and then I'm going to pocket the change because I was really impressed with the S5. And I want anyone else that has the S5 to come in here and tell me they did or didn't like it, because honestly, maybe I'm crazy, but I thought it was awesome. And Eric liked it too. And he'll tell me when he doesn't like something, but he thought it was awesome. All right. Yeah, a lot of questions about that. Let's see. What's up?
I texted you something you need to say.
Oh, I got to say, I already said it. Didn't I already say
it?
A different thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just FYI, all these pricings are, the early access event ends 10/29/23. Is that Sunday? Yeah, that's Sunday at midnight, 11:59 Central Time. Prices valid during, but may start before and end after the sales day. I'm not very good at reading things off of this. I'm illiterate. Sorry. Offers apply only to My Best Buy Plus and My Best Buy Total members. Limited quantity, no rain checks. See Black Friday FAQs. There. Now we said it. Thanks for dealing with that. Thank you, Eric, for sending me that. Okay, so you know what? I'm trying to get through these because I could stay on all day, to be honest. I don't mind. But I feel like when I scroll down, I miss some of the questions. So I'm just going to go backwards and I'm going to go up. So is it still worth to buy the S95B with a discount? Sure. I mean, if you can get it. I thought the S95B was great. I loved that last year. So let's type it in here, S95B. So this is the first generation QD-OLED. It's unavailable here. $18.99 for a 65-inch. Wait, so what was the price of the other one? No, I guess it's not then. So, well, I guess it depends on your discount. Right here it says $18.99 for that TV, but if you can look down here, it says $15.99 for the new one. So I would just buy the new one. So I guess it's not worth it to buy that one with a discount. I don't think the discount's worth it. I'm not really sure. Ooh, that U8K is $5,000. Yeah, that's definitely going to be considered. Yeah, I think I want to see that 100-inch. It sounds like we need to get that in the house and check it out because that's pretty awesome. This is a good question by Stephen Lee. Vizio makes excellent soundbar systems. They typically are pretty good. You're right. I wonder if they have any. Let's just check it out. Vizio Sound Bar. The thing about the Vizio Sound Bars is they normally have a lot of bass. So yeah, so if you get into something like this, the 5.1 channel V series soundbar with Dolby Audio, doesn't have Atmos, but for $200, you'll probably have a hard time finding the soundbar combination better than this for $200. These do have a lot of bass and they sound pretty good for the price. So I will agree with Stephen Lee. They are good. And I don't typically, check out the Vizio TVs. They haven't had anything that's really like tickled my fancy, but the sound bars, definitely an opportunity for you there. And I appreciate the comment, Stephen. Okay, I'm going up. We're going backwards right now. Okay. Yeah, I just said about the TV. Samuel, I think, was that the question? No, it's a different person. Samuel, I don't consider TVs. They're fine, but I'll take a Hisense TV just because some of the older Vizio TVs I had issues with personally when I would install them, like, software issues. They'd always just like glitch out. I had one where I plugged it in, the screen was on, and then like before I even got fully set up, the screen went out, the panel was dead, and we had to return it, take it off the wall. So when you're at a house and you're doing that a couple times here or there, even like 2 times in a year, right? It gives you that kind of, what do you call it? Like incidental? No, what is that word? Incidental? No, where you have like small bits of proof, but not full, like anecdotal evidence. There you go. Anecdotal evidence that Vizio is not great, but that's just because I had, multiple issues within a year of installation. And it's like, I'm not trying to take TVs back, especially when I put them on the wall and I got to take them back down. It's just not always logical to try to do an install fast and then turn on the TV and test it out before you throw it up on the wall because it's in the box. So just FYI. I don't like to do that. So I don't really, and there hasn't been that many new Vizio TVs to check out anyway. So let's see. We have a what? Well, it's not an 82-inch, 83-inch C2, $3,000. I got it in a store. Got it in store a week ago. Yeah, I don't think the C2s are going down in price. So if you got it in store, some of these even say you can't get them online. You got to go in store, and then it's just a crapshoot. And I don't know. Hopefully it's a brand new one and not a used one. So yeah. Here's a good story. I just bought this Q7 from Best Buy for a couple of reasons. Great price, fast delivery. If I need to return it, no issues at all. Agreed. Gary gets it. And he's not getting, he's not doing a sponsored video. So there you go. So just believe Gary. But realistically, I'm very happy to partner with Best Buy because this is like a perfect marriage. Be the installer recommending TVs. I've been buying TVs for people at Best Buy for the last 20 years. So that makes me sound old, but also it's true. All right, so let's see. What else do we got? A 75 inch, I don't know what that is. 798. Yeah, I don't really know what that is. And that's the wrong company anyways. That's cool. Okay, so I don't know. Is there any more questions? Does anyone else have questions? Jen says, do you want me to come down and read? Thanks a lot, Jen. Not cool, man. What were you going to say? Eric, anything or no?
I mean, there was somebody asking about a 40-inch 4K TV. If you had any suggestions?
I think what I've told people before is don't overthink it. If you can find a 43-inch or whatever.
I just bought for my dad. He really likes it.
There you go. We got a Samsung CU7000. Honestly, when you're at like a smaller size, the one thing is you're not going to have like, crazy HDR impact. The TV's smaller. You're already going to be like dealing with a smaller area. So things tend to just look better when they're smaller. Yeah. And I think a Samsung mid-tier, like, is fine. I also, we got like we had a Roku, I think, wasn't it a Hisense Roku TV we bought? It was like $160 for like a 43-inch. So if you're able to get some of those, like, let's just go to the homepage real quick because it is cool. So TV and projectors off of this, members get Black Friday early access. There are TVs all over this that are good. Again, I had said this A2 for $549 at 48 inches, awesome. If you can, spring for $550, obviously that's pretty expensive, but that's going to be really good. But will you notice the difference? Probably not. But you can go through all these. I mean, I would imagine that this UQ70 series is fine, $400 for a 65-inch too. So we had the UQ70 series. I thought it looked good. You got $1,500 for a Sony. That's probably not the best deal. That's their entry level OLED. Still really expensive, so tough. There's a 55-inch UQ70 LG, $299. Again, a lot of people are totally fine with these kinds of TVs. And why can't we go lower than 45? It doesn't even have a screen size thing for that. Oh, well, maybe I can type in 43-inch TV. But yeah, I mean, more or less, you can get a lot of different TVs for very inexpensive if you're just trying to go. Is this the one you're talking about? The 43-inch CU7000?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. $270. There you go. Done. Insignia, $189. I don't know how much difference there'd be between those two TVs. Just different operating system. This one has the Amazon Fire TV in it. This has the Tizen operating system. A lot of people will just buy the Samsung because they're more familiar with it, which is probably what Eric did. But you never know. Westinghouse 43, got some ONN TVs, all these different TVs you can get. And then maybe Be the Installer will come by and upgrade your TV at a later date. So you never know. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Are there any other deals? I'm probably going to wrap up soon here. But let me know real quick. Do you have that's weird. Okay. I already had said, we went over these soundbar options. I think we were talking this Vizio 5.1 right here. This is a pretty good discounted soundbar option. I believe that they even had a less expensive one. That's 5.1 for $200. In my opinion, that's discounted. And then there was a 2.1 system, which is just going to be, a left and a right stereo sound in a sub, $139. I'd opt for the 5.1 channel. Here's a soundbar. It's a 2.0, literally just the soundbar, $100. That'll sound better than your TV, no question. And you can just go down the list here. Here's some more Vizio stuff, 2.1. I think that this one right here, the 5.1 looks good. Oh, here you go. Here's the Elevate. You got to go from $200 all the way to $500 for a Vizio Elevate M series, where it has the DTS, the Dolby Atmos and all that. So now you're back up into this, to the price range that everything else is. So not so discounted any longer. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, make sure you guys check out the links in the description. If you purchase anything, we really appreciate that. You guys can do that from the links in the description. It does hook us up with a bit of a commission, so thank you. But buy what you guys want or don't. It's not really what we're here for. We're here for you guys and to answer questions. And if you guys have any other questions, definitely go into the comments below and I will review those and try to answer the best I can over this sale. Again, it ends Sunday night, 11:59 Central Time. And if availability is out, that's the same thing with Black Friday. Buy the things, don't overthink it too much. If you're gonna save $200, but you got to wait a month and then you can still get the discount, then just buy it now. Take the receipt back and say, hey, it's discounted further now. But at some point, you guys got to just pull the trigger, and you can't be asking when the best price ever will be, because normally they'll run out of stock or the price will dip a little bit more. But these are deals for members, so make sure you get that membership and you get discount on other stuff. You get longer return periods, you get free shipping. So a lot of cool things that come with getting that membership from Best Buy. And I'll thank Best Buy for sponsoring the video. And again, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a great weekend, and I'll look for you guys in the comments and on the next video. Adios.